Hi there YouTube, Extreme Trains here. So, as you've just seen in my little intro video thing that's just been posted, you probably know that I've got this in front of me. A faker Tomy ripoff Tomis Big Family set. Now, I got this quite some months ago, possibly even a year ago. I'm not exactly sure, from good YouTuber friend of mine, Leo Kim Video. If you haven't watched his stuff, I'm sure you guys will want to check it out because it has a lot to do with the same kind of stuff that I'm looking at on YouTube. So it took me a while to actually think about, what do I want to do with this set? Do I want to blow it up? And then I was like, that's probably a little bit dangerous. So instead, straight off in that kind of video, I'm just going to have a quick little look at the kind of stuff that it comes with. Now, I just want you guys to just absorb, particularly if you haven't seen a lot of fake stuff in the flesh, the bizarreness of what is said, in case, it wasn't clear from any of the other Dark Side videos you might have seen. Again, a key thing to note here is that notice how all the box art is the same. That's one thing you should be really wary of with these. There's no back explaining the set at all. It's all on here. The best we get are the instructions and the part count, which is here. So I think this is actually technically the back of the box. And you get your standard blah blah. You can see here, it's got $12 written on it. So I imagine that's the price that was paid for this. Let's have a look and see what's inside, I suppose. So considering this is Dark Side stuff, this is surprisingly well packed. To be honest with you guys. Here's the train here. Oh my goodness, it feels so light. Nope, nothing hiding under there. We've got a tunnel. We've got one tree. Okay, well, okay, sure. Yep. We've got another tree. Then we've got some of the not Tomy blue track. Alright, I'm going to put this together and let's see. Alrighty guys, so here's the layout configured as it was on the front of the box. It's decently sized, it's an interesting shape. I don't really know what else I can say. Obviously the plastic quality for the track is, to be honest, almost indistinguishable. The only part that seems to give it away are these. They seem to be a bit poorly done, not quite finished off properly. The trees are almost exactly the same as the original Tomy ones, although they don't seem to come out as easily of the bases as maybe they used to. However, my ones are quite old, so that's probably why they're. This tunnel piece is actually kind of alright, like it's quite solid in hand. It's got these little bits here so that it doesn't get too close to the track, but you can see the stickers on here to indicate the brickwork are pretty kind of shoddy. And then last, but definitely not least, I'm just going to put this down. If we get the station, it's, yeah, cheap and nasty as you would expect. It's got plenty of weird stuff going on, detail-wise. Like that 24 hours business, popular, whole day hours. Okay. Yeah, as you would expect, this stuff's pretty cheap and nasty, as you would expect. Alright, now, if we look first at the little Thomas, before I put them together, I just want to show you how they're done on the inside. Now, this is my first time seeing one of these in hand. I've seen them in stores, or fake stores quite a few times. But here's what they look like in hand. First thing to note is it's much simpler than the original Tomy ones, and that's indicated by a couple of things. The first of those is you can look underneath, just one piece of very basic plastic. The next thing to note is you can see there's nothing here. There's literally a motor, there is a switch, and there is a cable. As you can see, exposed cables like you wouldn't have seen on the Tomy sets, and you don't certainly see on the current Trackmaster sets because that's just dangerous. And what this means though is that whether on or off, you can see here that it's not geared, although equally that's something that's true for Trackmaster 2. Although these are noticeably easier to push along than this one, which is actually very, 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 very stiff. Otherwise, it's got this same old classic kind of Tomy design with this middle wheel. Interesting, this middle wheel actually spins rather than being fixed and you would pull it down. Again, compared to the equivalent center wheel for the new Trackmaster, which is just painted on very faintly. Not a big fan of that. Either way, I'll put a battery in it. Let's just see if it even runs. Alright. It runs, but does not take a lot for me to stop it. Not a lot of power in that at all. Also note, it's also quite quiet. I'm just going to put the lid on and we can just do a quick volume test. But it's really, really, really surprising me how quiet this thing actually is. Oh no, once we go together. Bingo. So, if we just do a quick sound comparison. It's actually quiet than the, you know, super quiet motors that are in the second generation Trackmaster, which is interesting. Although you can see the rather large difference in speed with these ones. Alright, so in terms of details on this Thomas, I was actually really disappointed because, in classic Darkside fashion, this face, this face, and let's be real, right? Like, I would have loved to have a Thomas with a moustache because that's super weird and super funky, and one of the only reasons you get Darkside stuff to get really weird, funky stuff. But unfortunately, this is just a classic Tomy face, which again, excellent face, although I do actually quite like some of the Mattel ones. The new one I think is terrible. I've already talked about this in one of my first reviews on this channel. I think this face is bogus, but I think this one is classic, but not quite as realistic as it could be. You can see it's got a scuff mark on there. Otherwise, the details are largely the same. He's got this on the back. You can see something's leaked all over it. I don't know what that was, but it's a little bit gross. Suffice to say. I think again though, it's just one of those things where if we have a look, once again, compared to, so we've got the Trackmaster 2 here, and the original, the biggest thing that leaps out to me is the fact that this one, even though it's a faker, has the painted buffers. Don't see many of those anymore, do we? No! But yeah, that's the little engine. Not super exciting. The not Clarabelle, or not Annie, in this case, is this one. They're both exactly the same. They've got the weird doors on the back, which make literally no sense. Ripped straight from the Tomy model here. Weird sticker on the front with these super weird eyes, like they're like red. Again, more of that weird leaky stuff. Nothing written on the bottom. These are, you know, your standard original Tomy rolling stock. This one's got a face that isn't quite applied properly, but none of that weird leak stuff. And apparently, this one's also missing a coupling on the back, so welcome to the dark side. Yay. Alright, so we'll just get it set up and running. It does run. This is reassuring. No instance yet. Let's just see if I change the pointers. It's still going to work. Yep. Yep, so it seems just like your, almost from the casual observer, would probably think this is your standard Tomy Thomas train set. We obviously know better than that. But as you can see, it runs just like a normal train set. It plays like a normal train set. The key thing here is that the materials, this is going to break. These are just junk. The motor in here, I imagine, is also probably not the best quality motor that you can buy. And of course, without the play function, that'll also tear up the insides pretty quickly if a child was to play with that. The biggest issue with this, I would say, is that it's very, very easy not to uncouple them. That's a pain. To take off the top, which was an old feature of the trains, but this is obviously something which is very easy to do. Someone could very easily take the battery out of here and swallow it, or I think what's more likely is the lid comes off and this cable breaks, and then game over. Thomas no longer works. In which case, I'm not sure which is actually more sad, when you have crying children about their toys or choking children which have to be taken to hospital, because both of them to me are not ideal. So even though maybe you're going, oh, what a cool set, like this is really like, you know, it's not that bad. No, this is definitely a faker, definitely weird. If anything, I think it's disappointing that I don't get something that's even weirder with the funky dunky face. But anyway, let's just have a quick look at one last thing. So I've hooked up the Trackmaster to Tomas, the Tank Engine, and we'll just see how he runs on this faker Tomy track. He's kind of a little bit unsure. Yep. So it looks like the extent to which these are clones is so much that, yes, as you can see, the switches are just too high for these new engines. Come on. Nope. So in the end, what is it about these knockoffs that people really like? Well, look, I mean, for $12, you are getting a semi-decent amount of blue track, which, as much as I really don't want to recommend knockoffs, is, as far as I can tell, apart from missing the Tomy logo, identical. So if you're into that kind of stuff, maybe that's what you want. Equally, I guess you can probably reuse the trees and the tunnel on some kind of layout. The tunnel, maybe if you just paint it up a little bit, might be a little bit better. But I'm telling you, this Tomas really, I'm sure on eBay there are plenty of the classic Tomases if that's what you're after. Otherwise, this one, I just don't think it's going to last, particularly as a present for a child would be particularly dangerous, and that's not something I'm ever going to condone on this channel. And equally, the Annie and Clarabelle are just weird. The coupling system, you know, always has been flimsy. It's very, very flimsy on these ones. And then the fact that straight out of the box, she is missing hers. I mean, welcome to the dark side, guys. This is exactly what you should expect. The fact that the box is light and had all that weird stuff on it which just isn't included also makes me probably a little bit sour, because I was keen to get a moustache Tomas. But anyway, look, it is what it is. Let me guys know what you think about this. I don't know if people out there are also into collecting knockoffs. Let me know if you've got something you want me to do to this set too. I'm very happy to, you know, try something out that's a little bit weird because, hey, he's a faker, so no hard feelings if he were to have an accident. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. I'm happy to try a couple of things out. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Do all those cool things you do on YouTube, like subscribe and stuff, you know, because other people are weird like me and want to watch these videos, which I make because I'm weird. Yep, I need to work out these, like, not these outros. That's what they're called when you finish talking. Anyway, alright. Thanks for watching, guys. That's what we've got time for. This is Extreme Trains. Extreme.